Now that we know that images can be translated into strings and that setting the image source field to that string will display the image, I want to play a little bit with our contacts app. This is our contacts app. We could edit contacts in place. Okay, and what I want to do is I wanted to add here an image field, so that there is an image for Luca, one for Helen, one for Charlie. If no image has been given, there will be a button with an upload. And once the image is given, there will be the small image of the person. And I'm doing this from scratch. I haven't done it before, but I think we can do it fairly easily. So the first thing is this. I wanted to translate the image that will be associated with a contact into a string via the read as data URL function. And I wanted to store that in the same database where we store the contacts. So I want to go here, look at the database that is declared in models. And in the contact, in addition to first name and last name, I want to add a field that is the image of the person. Thumbnail, I call it. Okay? Because it will be small. We don't have space for a large one. So I add it here. Now let me work on the view. I want here to have the image. So here I go and I want to have another header with nothing written. And this is the iteration. So this spits out first name and last name, we know that. And this will spit out the image. Okay, so this is the place for the image. So here I want to have the upload of the image. So let me cut and paste code from our work on image upload and then adapt it. So I cut and paste here code that is not quite correct. In fact, is quite not correct. But this will be good enough as a start. So I want to display, this will be the uploader, and I want to display it if row.thumbnail is missing. Okay, so here will be the uploader. Okay, and I can change this to upload file. Why not? Okay, one event only. And here I don't want to write choose file. I just want to leave it as it is. Okay, so here there is a bit of I don't know why it did not put it correctly. I think it does not understand fully what's going on with Vue. That is the problem. So let me try to make it slightly more beautiful. Okay. Label div p. So I need to put this in also. One more div. Okay. Okay, great. So this is the case in which we don't have the thumbnail. And if we do have the thumbnail, actually it's easier because we say image Vue if is equal to row.thumbnail source, the column means, you know, this is a Vue command, associate please the source with row.thumbnail. Okay, so this so we have this case analysis. Either we don't have the thumbnail and we display this file uploader, or we do have the thumbnail and then we display the thumbnail. Let's see if by any chance this works. I made another modification, by the way. I added this text field to the thumbnail so that it can hold a longer text. So let me see whether this works. I can restart it. Hopefully there are no errors. I mean, I made very small changes to the controller. Let's look here how this looks. Okay, this looks great, but I don't have an icon. So I want an icon there. So where did my icon go? Okay, I think I need to put it somewhere like here. Class is equal to fa upload. Okay, let me see whether this works. Yeah, good enough. Okay, so this will be file selector, so they might even work. Yes. Okay, now there is no upload file in Voodoo.js, so this I need to write it. So let me write it. I need to add to the methods an upload file. Okay, so here I do it, upload file, app.upload file. So here there is a point. When I upload the file, I don't only want to pass the event, but I also need to say for which of the contacts is this image, right? So I need to specify that. And so I need to specify here the row index. This will be an easy way to specify which contact I'm talking about, you know, for which of the contacts am I uploading the thumbnail. So here, in app upload file, I think I'll just write it directly here. App.upload file is equal to a function that will take two parameters, an event, just as before, but also a row index. Okay, and so here is where we have to do the business. So let me copy from the file from the code I have for the others. So let input is equal to event target. This is what we had before as well. I'm just copying it. So let file is equal to input.files of 0. Okay, this is just as before. And I want to do two things, notice, once I have the file. I want to both read it as an image URL to set it locally and send it to the URL, to the server. So let me do that. So I say if file, I want to do this only if there is a file, obviously. And what do I have to do? I have to declare a reader. Let reader is equal to new file reader. Okay. Reader add the event listener for the load event, and here I will say app dot upload file, upload image. Well, do upload. Okay. So this is a function. Actually, let me say function app do upload. I just don't want to write a lot of things in line here, okay? And then I say reader dot read as data URL. That's it. That's what I need. So this essentially takes the file, reads it as a data URL, and once it has been read, I call do upload. Okay, do upload, in which I specify the reader itself. Okay, because I need to know where to find the data. App do upload is equal to a function that will take yeah, but this is a bit ugly. Then let me write it all in the same place instead of writing it here. So here, what do I want to do once I have the result? So the first thing I want to say sets the local preview. Okay, and so I say let row is equal to app v rows of row index. Okay, so now I'm fishing out the row, and I'm saying row dot thumbnail. This is what drives the display of the image, is equal to reader dot result. So this will be enough for setting the local preview. And now sends the image to the server. So here I want to do a post in which I pass also this reader result to the server. So I do an axios.post to a URL that I have to invent. I call it upload thumbnail URL. Okay, this is a post, so the parameter will be what precisely? I need to give it a contact ID, which is the row.id, because I need to know for which contact this is, and I need to give a thumbnail, which is the reader.result. Okay, so this is the Axios post, and I could do a then, but I'm not sure that that there is so much interesting stuff to be done. Well, actually, maybe a better thing to do would be, sorry, for beauty, let me do this here. So the setting the preview, it's maybe slightly more elegant if I do it once the server has received the image, because in this way it acts as confirmation that it went through. Okay, so then function okay, and sorry, and this goes in there. Okay, so okay, so the flow is this. I take the file. If I have a file, I create a reader. I add this event listener to the reader, that when the image is loaded as an image URL, I call this function that will post the image to the server, post this image to the server along with the contact ID, and then we'll set the local preview. Okay, so everything works here. I don't know why it's complaining about that. Oh yeah, it's complaining because the file is missing, so file. Okay, I need to define this upload thumbnail URL, which I don't have so far. I have other URLs, but not that one. So let me add it here. Let this is equal to, so in again XML of this. Okay. So now I need to go to the controller and define the two things, both this upload the thumbnail URL and the controller that will store the URL. But both the things are fairly easy to do. So let me go here in the controllers. First I created the URL and I say upload the thumbnails URL is equal to URL of this, of upload thumbnail signer is equal to URL signer. Okay, signer. Okay, so this is one thing, and then we need to write the code that will store the contact thumbnail when it arrives. And so this is not so hard to do. Action, so the action is called upload thumbnail. The method is gonna be post. Okay, action.uses URL signer dot verify, and it's gonna use a database as well. Def upload thumbnail. Okay, so what do I need to do? As always, the first thing is that I need to fish out the parameters from the post. So I have to say contact ID is equal to request JSON. JSON is used to send out app things, so contact ID, and then thumbnail is gonna be request JSON get of the thumbnail. Okay, so once I have these two, all I have to do is update the contact. I know that the contact exists because otherwise we're in trouble, and so I can just write db contact ID is equal to contact ID. Okay, update, and the update simply says thumbnail is equal to thumbnail. So this just updates the app thumbnail, and then I return okay. That's all there is to it. Beautiful. So now we need to test this code, of course. So to test the code, I reload this. There shouldn't be any errors. I have made very small changes to the controllers. So now I should be able to go here. Well, maybe I should reload as well. And I should not forget my good habits. I should keep an eye on the console, just to check that there is no funny error happening. And at this point, I can upload an icon for myself, a rubber duck. Okay, so, okay, as I say this, I found a mistake, without even trying. So the problem is that I don't want a huge icon. I don't want a huge rubber duck. So here, I want to say width is equal to 50. Okay, so let me reload a moment so that I won't get a huge rubber duck. Now I can load it, rubber duck, open, and I see that there is some error. So let's try to debug it together. Row is not defined. Okay, this seems to be like a small issue. Yes, and the problem is that I inverted these two pieces of code. So let me fix it. Okay, so in fact, why don't I get the row here, which is cleaner? Just where I get the file, I should also get the row, so that it will be available for these various controllers. Okay, so if I restart, no, I don't need to restart, I just need to reload these, and then I repeat the operation. Oh, it seems to have worked. So let's look here. The console does not complain. The network has a post that has an upload thumbnail. In the request I can see contact ID 1, and the thumbnail is this data image. So this looks perfect. And if we look at the response is 200, so the server actually hasn't broken nor given any kind of error. So the other check is if I reload these, will the rubber ducky be still there? So let me try to reload. And yes, so actually the code works. This is quite beautiful.